Today's video is not going to be about good vibes because we have a serious problem to fix. Well, at least I think there's a serious problem to fix. If you're my friend, I don't care. But just trigger warning, we're going to talk about sex. Now, I'm comfortable to speak about that on the internet apparently, but if that makes you uncomfortable, then you might not want to watch this video. Now, what do I mean when I say this video is not going to be good vibes? This is going to be a rant about how I'm going to say sex a lot also. Sex. Now get it, it's out of the way, wonderful, we can move on with our lives. After talking and just listening also with so many of my cis woman friends, I've realized that unless you look for answers or you look for certain tips or educational tools, whatever, unless you educate yourself on the topic of female sex and female pleasure, I'm not gonna say female because we're not animals, even though we are technically animals. Anyways, I'm gonna say woman. Yeah, that's better. Unless you decide to educate yourself on woman pleasure, you're not gonna know anything. And that makes me very angry. I could get into details. This could have been a worked on video. It's really not. I can make like a better version of this though if you're interested. The thing is, we know so little about women, genitalia and pleasure and all of that just because we're only made to have babies, right? If you nodded, you are part of the problem. Why the hell are you talking about this now? Very good question. Black Friday is tomorrow-ish, and basically one of my favorite sex shops actually has an amazing Black Friday sale. They have like 20% off basically everything, I think. And I was like, ooh, it's time to upgrade your tools or try something new if you were eyeing on something but it was like too expensive. Now it's 20% off. After so many DMs being like, ooh, what's your favorite? How did you learn about them? Are they safe? Is it like a sketchy sex shop? All the people in my DMs were women, cis women. And I realized that it's a topic that I talk about so openly because I don't see the taboo in it. But that's not the case for most people. I want to debunk, I would say, like the most common myths about woman pleasure or anything like that. First one, obviously, you don't have to be ashamed for enjoying sex. You don't have to be ashamed for wanting to know more about your anatomy or anything, okay? The concept of virginity is BS. I think we all know that by now, but just in case, you know that myth of like, oh, for a woman, your hymen, like the little, it's like skin, extra skin, when it is penetrated, it's gonna break, and that's a sign that you're not a virgin anymore. You know what? The hymen, actually, by now, 2021, most people are born without it because it doesn't fulfill any like biological function anymore. It used to, but that's not the case anymore. So some women are born without hymens, and also some are born with an hymen that's already like stretched almost. Like it's not like what you think about when you think about the hymen. Or also if you do horseback riding or if you dance, you're gonna get a little bit more stretch in that area. So anyways, it's always that question of like, oh, if I only did foreplay, does that count as sex? Or if I only did XYZ, is it really sex? Am I still a virgin? We all have different definitions for ourselves. When did that ever mattered? Also, masturbating and knowing your body is nothing to be ashamed of. On the contrary, I think it's attractive. Every person should be able to be like, hey, this is what I like. Oh, this is something that I'm not really like comfortable with, or no, I don't like that at all. Because that's like, what's the point? This is really messy, but please bear with me. I just want to say, if you're having, okay, this is why I'm posting this video. I kind of want to make this a series. So yeah, I kind of want to set up an email where you could send me questions or send me situations, and I would try my best to answer them. Like, I'm in no way, shape, or form a sexologist or a sex therapist, anything like that. I have a psych background. I think I'm pretty educated on a lot of sex related topics, so that's why I was just like, so many of my friends ask me questions, but what's funny to me is that they all ask the same questions. One of the main ones being like, oh, am I normal? Like, is it normal that I don't like this, that I don't feel bad, that I don't want to try this? And it's like, damn, this could have been solved so easily if the information was much more accessible and much more easy for the general audience to understand and not talk about biological terms, although they are important to know, like the basis. I'm talking like for the woman genitalia, but when it comes to actually practicing sex and having sex, it's so much more than just, oh, you gotta stretch the labia and then the hood of the clitoris is gonna be penetrated. But like, it all comes down to practice, whether that's by yourself or with partner. What you have to understand with sex is that it should be fun. If it's not fun, if it's not enjoyable, something's gotta change. Okay, I understand, trust me, how that can be like a difficult conversation or a difficult topic to even bring up, but I will link some educational tools like low-key from Venus Envy, which is like, I think, one of the greatest sex shops. They offer workshops, sex ed, they have like pamphlets about anything, sex toys, safe sex, like anything you can think of, they have educational tools on it. So I'm gonna really need you to work with me and take that element of shame out of your head when it comes to sex. So again, I was saying this is not good vibes because this really makes me sad that so many people are missing out just because they're not educated and are not sure where to reach out for help or ashamed to ask for help. We really need to get that out of like that taboo area. It's not taboo, it's fun to talk about. You can talk about it without necessarily talking about your personal experience directly. If you don't want to overshare, that's your private life. If you don't want to talk about it, then don't talk about it. Try to make it a safe environment, whether that's with your friends or your family, for any questions related to that sex area, so that that person feels comfortable to share. Or you can just listen. You don't even have to give advice if you're not comfortable with that. Just be an active ear, because 99 of the problems that are not medical can be solved with communication. And that's coming from me who hates communicating, so trust me on this. I thought about it, and I'm really glad that most of the girlfriends that I talk to, I kind of encourage them to discover their own sexuality, and I think it's like honestly the best thing ever. It's not all about sex, yada yada, but I'm just saying it's a topic that is so taboo. It can, when you have an issue with it or a complication or whatever, it can really take up your whole mental energy. So that's why we have to work on it. Another point that's more about consent, I think for me it was really hard to grasp. If you don't want to do anything, no is a full sentence, whether you're in the middle of it, whether you're by yourself, because yes, you still have to give yourself consent. That's, yeah, doesn't just apply to partners. You may not know your boundaries yet, and that's okay, but when you do feel them in the moment and your mind goes, nope, you have to voice that. It's, of course, if you feel safe to do so. There are always exceptions because there are lots of, bleep in the world. Putting your boundaries is definitely something that will make you more comfortable to explore, whether that's by yourself or with someone else. I cannot stress this enough, but girls, you have to discover yourself. You have to try things by yourself. If you're not comfortable with yourself, you may be able to be comfortable with someone else, but I really think it would be beneficial for you to really know, not even to teach the person, just for yourself, so that you can know how to pleasure yourself, how to enjoy sex, casual, serious sex, whatever, it doesn't matter. And to be honestly more open-minded and therefore more likely to be able to give advice to some of your friends as well that might need some help. Another thing that really bugs me is that the concept of your first time you had sex. First off, what is sex? Second, why should my first time be more important than all the other times I'm gonna have sex? It makes no sense. No. So I just wanted to remind you that if you are thinking about doing it for the first time, think as long as you need to and take that time for whichever, however many other times you're gonna want to have sex with someone else or yourself. All the times are important. During all those times, you deserve the same respect of your person, your body, and your boundaries, just as much as the first time you had sex. The respect should always be there. But I mean, it's 2021, so hopefully we all know that by now. Oh, someone's telling me we don't. Okay, well, reminder, consent is necessary. And consent is a hard yes. It's not like a sure. It's not like a I mean, if you want to, it's a hard yes. If you are looking for toys, this is not sponsored. I wish it was sponsored, but I'm gonna link this quiz of which sex toy you should go for depending on what you already know you like or what you're curious about. The website I'm gonna link into is the website that has 20% off. I think it's from Friday to Monday. They do ship for all of Canada. I would be more than happy to make this like a series, or do like a debunking a myth one at a time or something like that. Or giving you books recommendations or resources. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of like chit chats, vlogs, rants lately. I'm not gonna lie, when I started this channel, I didn't know if I would ever feel comfortable talking about sex on the internet, because it is not seen as like the greatest thing, especially if it comes from a woman. Honestly, fuck it. I've seen the impact it has on real life people, and if I can have that impact on some people over the internet, then that's great, you know? And if I don't have the answer, I can always refer you to other sources. I think now I'm better at finding resources, but being younger, not being sure who to ask, I didn't know what was like foreplay. I didn't know what was sex. To be fair, I still like don't really know. I think it's so important, if that's something you're struggling with, to know that there are resources available. That sounds so cheesy, but it's true, okay? Lots of resources available. Much more women are on the market. I'm also going to list like a super cool article about different women in the like sex toys industries. If you're interested in it, you should definitely go support them. I was just really sad to realize that so many people were like, oh my god, I didn't know this was normal, or I didn't know this was typical, or I thought I was broken. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I would never be able to enjoy sex. And it's like, I feel you, but I'm here. And now you're gonna learn everything you didn't learn in high school, and you probably would have never learned if you didn't have me in your life. JK, if we didn't have resources, because I learned that from someone else and they learned that from someone else. Yeah. The only question I have for you is the series. Yes, no, of course it would be anonymous. I would never share any personal details, whether that's like age, name, sex, whatever. But I think it would be really fun. I love giving advice, especially when it's unsolicited. I hope this really inspired you to, you know, have fun tonight, or in the afternoon, or in the morning, whenever you feel like it. Have fun, get in the mood, light some candles if that's your vibe, put on some lo-fi beats if that's your vibe. Just have fun with it, and please, please enjoy yourself. Find a way to enjoy yourself. Okay, last tip. Sex is not about orgasms. I know that's very like penis focused. For men and women and anything in between, sex shouldn't be about like that orgasm, that big O, right? It should be about pleasure, about being intimate with someone else or with yourself, and finding new spots you didn't know you had, and you know, stuff like that. So I just want to make that extra clear that if you do not orgasm during sex, that's cool, like as long as you enjoyed it. And if you did not enjoy it, that's also okay. That's just, you can work on it again if that's what you want, if you even want to enjoy sex. Not everyone does. You're also valid if you don't want to enjoy sex and you don't care about it. As long as you don't shame others for liking it, and vice versa, no harm being done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next week. Please don't forget to let me know what you think about the idea of like making this a series. Think about names. I'm thinking about like ray essentials, like essentials, but rays. I already thought about this. I'm serious. Before you go, remember to empty your email boxes, because that pollution is not cute. And also remember to have fun tonight. Whenever you have time, just give yourself like 10-15 minutes. Relax, lock the door. You're by yourself, you're good. I probably said sex too many times, but that's life. Get used to it.